thing I want to cover is body locks and double overhooks. Oftentimes in freestyle wrestling, when two men engage each other, one ends up in what we call a bear hug position, and the other man ends up in a double overhook position. Both men have an opportunity to score big points. The man that's in the best position is the guy with the bear hug. However, the other man has to try to defend himself. So we're going to show you a technique that you can use to defend a bear hug first. Then we're going to show you some ways that you can use the bear hug to take the opposition down towards his back. First of all, if a man takes a bear hug position, like such, the first thing you want to think about is drop your hips low, like this. Because he has to get me back up in the air before he can throw me or take me with this bear hug. So I want to drop my hips low first. That's your first defense. Now, if he feels like he starts to suck you in, then you've got to go to your last alternative. Double overhook, suplex type throw. So from this position, okay, he starts to suck you in, and you keep your hips down low as long as you can. What we're going to do is just hook right under his armpits. Now you can do this. You can take one leg and step to the outside and have one leg in, or if he allows you, you can get both legs in between. If you get both legs in between, you're going to be much better off because you can take him in either direction. It would probably be best to take him to the side that his head is on. Again, with this technique, you really have to work on getting your hips in and arching up as you throw him. Okay, so from here, the first thing you want to do is get your hips back. He starts to suck in, okay, here, right under his armpits. Now, you step between his legs. Now, we're going to do this slow and show you how this technique works. Knees in, hips in. Up on your toes, high arcing bridge, right here. There, straight down towards his back. And you're in a position where you can get your pin. One thing I would caution you against when going into this double overhook position is going too deep, like this. I like to hook right under his armpits. This way I have options. I can come out and go into a headlock, or from this position maybe just turn and go down to the mat rather than give him a chance to get a 3 or a 4-point maneuver. Again, let's look at this technique again. Man comes in with a bear hug. Lock right under his armpit. As I said before, you can step one leg out, one leg in. Or you can step both legs right between his legs, knees together. When you do this, you go up, high bridge, take him back, straight to his back, like such. If you take him towards his head, you're probably going to be a little bit better off. However, you can also take him in the other direction. The other thing I want to talk about from this position here is the headlock. If a man gets a tight bear hug in, and you know that you're going to get taken with this thing, you can do a couple things to bail out, or you can do something that might be get you points against him. And that's a headlock. Okay, again, he's sucking you in, you have your hips back, he's sucking you in. This is a great position to go into a sag headlock. Watch, you just go from here to here. Sag your hips right down to the mat. To start with, you want to make sure that you keep your hips low. As he starts to suck you in, you keep your hips low. All right, now watch, hips low, down to the mat. The other thing that happens from this position is something we call a slip. We'll get into that in a little bit more detail in just a little bit. That's when he starts to suck you in, and you go for a headlock, and you miss it. Now, if you started on your feet, both men will be put back up on their feet again, so you don't lose anything. So from that position, when a man secures a tight bear hug, you keep your hips low. You don't have to give him points or give him a takedown. Again, double overhook, headlock, or into a position where you might slip off the headlock, go down, and you might have a slip called against you, and you won't lose any points. Now I want to show you some techniques that you can use with the bear hug. There are two ways that you might control a bear hug. The first is by going two underhooks and locking behind his back. The second is a position whereby you lock and you trap an arm in and lock behind his back. Let's take a look at this position from two underhooks. Okay, when you lock up two underhooks, the first thing you have to realize is that this guy has an opportunity to throw you as well as you do to throw him. So the thing you have to think about is trying to get control of this man's hips. If I'm directly in front of him, parallel to him like such, then he's in his best position to take me for a ride. However, as soon as I can get around to the side and get control of his hips, I'm in a position to take him towards his back, and I'm in a stronger position than he's in. Now, let's talk about some things that we can do from this position. The first one, all we're going to do is just a step around. We're going to step around his near leg, block his hip off, and take him towards his back. When you do this, you step around the leg. Now, as you do that, you make sure that you block his hip in, and as you take him, you arc into him slightly so that you make sure that you get him a little bit up off the mat, and you're able to take him towards his back. Again, the key thing here is to make sure that you have control of his hips. If you start to step behind and he takes his leg back and you try to throw him, now, this is what might happen. From this position, you can actually take him to either side, but you always take him to the side that you step to, like this. Now from here, again, arc your hips in, make sure that you're ready to step over as you take him down towards his back. The other thing that you can do from this position is take him up in a throwing motion. When you do this, you have an opportunity to get a 4-point throw, or what we call a high amplitude throw. Okay, so from this position right here, what we're going to do is step behind. Now from here, we have to pop the hips in and take him up into a high arcing throw, like such. Okay? We'll show that one more time. Okay, again, lock him up, step behind his hips. Now, you notice I squat. Now from here, I'm going to pop my hips and take him in a high arcing throw position, like such. That would be worth 4 points in freestyle wrestling. Now let's talk about trapping the arm. Okay, from this position, what you might do is just reach around his back and lock. When I lock from this position, I like to catch him on the opposite side and slightly below his rib cage, like such. Now from here, again, on the first one, we're just going to step behind his near leg, block his hip off, and just crunch him down to the mat, like such. Okay, again, from here, lock him below his rib cage on the other side, step behind his near leg, and crunch him down to the mat, like such. Okay, the other thing you can do when you step behind after you lock is do a little arcing throw. So from here, we step inside, we step behind the hips. Now from here, we pop the hips up, and we take them towards his back, like such. So, those are two ways that you could take him by locking and trapping the arm in, right here. One, you step behind, and you just crunch him down to the mat. The second one, you take him into a high arcing throw position. Now I will talk about the slip and how it can be a very important aspect of freestyle. The slip is called when a wrestler initiates a technique and misses a move. If the wrestler initiating the move follows all the way through and ends up on the bottom, he will not lose any points. I'll demonstrate what I'm talking about. Okay, let's take the headlock for instance. Say Rick comes in on a bear hug situation right here. He starts to really press into me, and I go for my headlock, and I slip off. In freestyle wrestling, Rick would not be awarded any points. That would be called a slip. Okay, again, he starts coming into a headlock or bear hug, and he starts pressing in towards me, and I throw my headlock and miss it. That's called a slip. However, if you're in a situation where he's into a bear hug position and you start your headlock and he stops the motion right in the middle, then he scores his 1 point takedown. So a slip occurs when you go all the way through and down to the mat, and the other man ends up on top. If he stops you halfway through, then he's going to be awarded the points. Another situation where that occurs oftentimes is with an underarm spin. Say again, Rich starts coming in after me, really barreling in, and I go to an underarm spin position, and I miss my throw, and he ends up on top. That's a slip throw. Rich will not be awarded any points in that situation. However, if I start my underarm spin, and he stops me halfway through, and I don't go all the way to the mat, and then I go down, now he will be awarded his 1 point takedown. The slip is very, very, very important in freestyle. You can use it as a tactical move to get yourself out of trouble, or you can use it to try for a technique, and if you miss the technique, they will not penalize you for taking that risk. The next segment of this tape will be on freestyle defenses to single leg tackles. The first situation we're going to look at is when the opposition shoots in on a single leg tackle with head to the inside. Okay, say he shoots in on a single leg tackle. Okay, when this situation occurs, the first thing I want to think about from a defensive standpoint is try to keep this man out front. Now watch, if Rick can work himself out to the side and behind the plane of my body, now he gets in a better and better position to complete his takedown. So, when he starts to move in that direction to the outside, I'm going to start to move with him, this way. I'm going to control this side of his body and not give him an opportunity to get to the outside. The other thing that you need to be concerned with when he gets in on a single leg tackle is you know that you have to stop him from getting you up in the air or getting back to his feet. So once you get him down in this position, you want to keep enough pressure on him so that you can keep him down on the mat and out in front of your body. Now, here's what happens after a while, after he's been here for a little bit. You have control in this position. You're defending his single leg tackle. One of the first techniques we're going to show is just a simple knee pick. Okay, Rich, let's turn around this way. Now, when you have him in this position, oftentimes he'll step up with the outside leg or the inside leg. In both of these situations, you can work yourself into a 2 point situation. For instance, say he steps up with the outside leg. Okay, number one, you want to stay in fairly tight to him. You want to control his hip here. When this happens, you're going to reach behind his knee. You're going to take the other leg. Let's turn around. Okay, again, he steps up with the outside leg. You reach behind his knee. With the other leg, you're going to step over his head, and you're going to trap his head and his arm in. And all you do is roll him towards his back. So from here, you go from this position to here. You trap the knee. You trap his head in, you trap the arm in, and you roll him towards his back. When you do that, if he doesn't pop right back up, it's a good idea to roll your hips right up top. Now you have him in a situation where you can work for your pin. Okay, again, he's in on a leg. He steps up with the outside leg. Reach behind his knee. Okay? Reach behind his knee. When you reach behind his knee, catch him right at the joint. Pull it up tight, close to his body. Now, on the other side, we're going to step up and trap his head in, and we're going to trap his arm in. We're going to lift his knee up and take him towards his back. So we're in this position. We have him squeezed in fairly tightly. You trap his head and arm in. You have control of his knee. So from here, step up. Now, post, lift. Now, if he pops right back up again, if he's a beginning freestyler, oftentimes he'll step up with the very same leg again. Take the same maneuver. Trap his head in, trap his arm in. Again, you have a situation where you can pick up 2 points. Okay, now, same leg, same situation. Say he comes up with the outside leg, the inside leg. Okay, you control him here again. Now this time, you already have his head trapped in. His head is to the inside. You're pressuring into him, keeping him fairly tight in this position. If he steps up, go ahead, step up. Now from here, you go behind his knee. Now you want to sit your outside knee under, post your hand on the mat, and take him in the other direction. If you can catch him here and rotate your hips up top, then that's what you want to do. Now you have an opportunity to work for your pin. Okay, that's the first technique that you can do from that position and score points. Now, the key thing you want to notice about this particular technique is that you don't necessarily have to take this man down and get behind him before you score points. That's a very, very important concept. Right now, the next thing we're going to do is a belly roll. This is a very good freestyle technique. Again, oppositions in on your leg, single leg tackle position. You want to keep his head trapped to the inside. Say you start out first by trying to get your leg back like such. You're controlling his waist to controlling his body right here. Now, he starts to pull your leg in. Okay, you get your leg in. Again, you want to keep him parallel out in front of your body. You want to reach as deep as you can on his waist. Now, from this situation, you want to step up. You want to trap his head in and his arm in again. Now, from here, as you step up, you're going to pick everything in. Post a hand on the mat and just roll him towards his back. Now, if he pops right back up again, it allows you to work the very same move. You can do it again and again and again. Again, watch. Deep waist, all the way across. You want to step over his head, trap his head in, you want to trap his shoulder in. Now, once you get to this position, you post the arm. Now, with your forearm, you thrust him across towards his back. Now, if you get him in this position and you can do this, rotate your hips up top, then you want to take it that way. Because now, you have him on his back and you have an opportunity to work for your pin. The next thing you can do, say if a man goes to a single leg tackle, head to the inside, is pop his head to the outside. Okay, say you're down in this position here, and you want to work into a crotch lift position. From here, what you can do is you dig his head to the outside, like such. Now, what you have to do is take your foot and step up with it, like this. You have to work yourself around the corner so that you can go into what we call a crotch lift. From here, let's turn around. What we're doing is we're getting one foot underneath his body so that we can gain control of his hips. So from here, what we did was come up and pop his head to the outside. As soon as we did that, you step around the corner, like such. Now, you go in the crotch, control him here. Now, you're in a position to get your 2 points, like that. Okay? Again, he's in on a single leg tackle. Now, from here, you want to come to your feet, pop his head to the outside. You want to step underneath his body, make sure that you're in a position so that you can get your hips under him as you start to lift. Step around, like such. Now from here, okay, he's still on his knees, you step around, right in the crotch. From here, you just take him up. That would be worth 2 points in freestyle wrestling. Now, the other situation you want to look at is a situation where the man that's shooting the takedown is in a position with his head to the outside, like such. Okay, you can go to the exact same situation we did before with the crotch lift. Keep him down on the mat, okay? You already have your inside leg underneath his body. Control the arm, step around into the crotch, lift him up, take him over for a crotch lift. Another maneuver that you can do from this position is trap the arm in. Okay, so you have him in this position here. Say he starts to step up even. From here, you want to trap the arm in. Now, with the other arm, let's turn around. You want to go around his waist and control his waist, like such. So you have one arm trapped in on this side, okay? You have to really push this thing in tight and make sure that you're in a position to get your weight down on him. The other hand goes around his waist. Now, this is the important hand now, okay? From this position here, the hand that you control this near arm with goes in his crotch from here. Now from here, you need to get your hips in, get them up on top of your body, and just arc your hips. From here, okay? That's a 2 or 3 point maneuver, depending on how high he goes. Okay, again, watch what we're doing here. Okay, say he shoots a high crotch. You stop him in this position here. Notice immediately, around the waist, trap the arm in. Now from here, we're going to go on this crotch, Step up, go in the squat right here. Now you squat and you lift them. Take them straight over. 2 or 3-point maneuver. That's a real good technique to use when the opposition's head is to the outside. I would like to thank A6 Tiger for sponsoring this technique video. This video was the first of my series on freestyle wrestling. Tape number 7 will cover freestyle offense and defense on the mat. I enjoyed working with you. Best of luck with your freestyle wrestling.